Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and welcome back to Plantmas Day 4, and welcome to my first ever studio vlog. A few of you have been asking me to do studio vlogs for a very long time, and I've always been reticent because my life is really not that interesting, but with the launch of my shop and all of the things I've been doing to get ready, I started getting into watching studio vlogs and thought I might try my hand at creating one of my own. So this studio vlog is part 1, and this is focusing on the redesign of my website. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. They've helped me create my online store and given me all of the marketing tools and analytics that I need to not only build a beautiful online presence, but also to run my business. If you haven't seen yesterday's launch video yet, I highly recommend you go watch that before this video because this video kind of spoils it. So go watch yesterday's video if you haven't seen it yet, and then come back and watch the transformation of my website. Hi. Today's video is going to be focused on my website. I do have a website, plantbasedbride.com. As of now, filming this video, that site is primarily a blog and has sort of been dormant recently since I moved fully over to YouTube and kind of shifted my focus from veganism to bullet journaling and general ethical, cruelty-free living. Now, when you're watching this, if you go to the website, it's going to look completely different than it does for me right now because I will have already done what I'm going to be doing in this video, which is completely revamping my website from top to bottom. I'm going to be turning what is right now a blog and a resource for information for people who are looking to go vegan into an e-commerce shop. And I will still keep all of my blog posts up. They will all be still available because people are still reading them and commenting, and I still stand behind what I said in those blog posts. I'm just no longer writing new content in that vein because I feel like I sort of said everything I had to say. So there will still be a blog tab. You can still read the blog posts if you are so inclined, but the main purpose of the website is going to shift dramatically, and that is something that I have not started working on yet, and time's a ticking and have to get started on it. So today's vlog is going to be focused primarily on completely revamping my website from top to bottom. This is not going to be a one-day process, so this vlog is going to cover a number of days, I'm sure, but I need to pick out a new theme. I want to do a full revamp as far as the design and look of my site because I haven't changed it for years, and I also have to completely change the functionality. I've used Squarespace for my website for years, since I launched it 5 years ago. I've been with Squarespace. They're amazing, and that's why I work with them. I really stand behind their product. As someone with zero knowledge of HTML or coding, I could not make a website like this without a service like Squarespace, and I think that they're the best on the market, which is why I'm putting my website in their hands. So also, yes, it is 2:44 in the afternoon. I'm not just starting to work right now. I have been working for hours already before I set up and started filming. So I don't want any comments about me starting my workday at 2:45 because, listen, no one wants to put a camera in their face first thing in the morning. At least I don't. Okay, let's go. First thing I want to do is look at my current site and kind of figure out what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. So this is my site as it stands right now. This is the home page. I have a Start Here tab, which takes us to a little video I made back when I had brown hair. And then this is basically a Start Here for people who are interested in veganism. So I have a bunch of articles that I've written for different people who are at different stages of their vegan transition. So that is there. I have an About page that talks about who I am. Surprise, surprise. That is usually what About pages are for. An About page, I have the blog, which was the primary purpose of my website for a very long time. I haven't posted anything to the blog since May. I have a resources page with books and cookbooks and films and all kinds of things that I recommend. And then I also have a search page so that people can search through the whole site to find something specific they're looking for. And then as of right now, this is sort of the design of the site. It's quite minimal. And then the background on the site is this photo I took in Costa Rica when I went on vacation with my husband years ago now, just because I thought it was a pretty background. But I feel like this has been the version of the site since the beginning. I have changed a few things, like I changed the home page, I created the Start Here page, but design-wise, it's been the same for a very long time. So I kind of wanted to use a new theme and try something new and exciting for this. So that is kind of my plan here. I am waiting to hear back from Squarespace. I was asking them a question about upgrading to the commerce plan because I have to do that. So I'm waiting to hear back from that, but in the meantime, I can look at design. But I think before I even do that, what I want to do is, in my bullet journal, I'm gonna start a new page somewhere. Maybe I'll skip towards the end and use a page that's unused right now. So here, this is a page where I was testing out some pens and things early on. So I'm gonna use this side of the page to just sort of brainstorm what I want this site to be, both in design and in functionality, what pages I want, things like that. I think it's important to, at least for me, to get my thoughts down on paper and organize them before I just jump into working on something, because otherwise I tend to kind of split my focus in a lot of different directions and not necessarily be as efficient as I would like to be. So I'm gonna start here by sort of brainstorming what I want this site to be. So I'm gonna move the camera so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm working on my plan in my bullet journal, and I'm starting by writing out the pages that I know I'm going to want to have, or I think I'm going to want to have on my website. So a home page, a shopping page or a few, an about page, FAQ. I'm gonna want my blog to still be there so that I don't lose all of that content, some sort of search function, potentially pages for customer accounts, a cart, and I also want to add in links to my social media and a newsletter form. These won't be on their own pages, but just elements to keep in mind. And then I'm going in and just adding any other thoughts I have on this. So on the homepage, I want to highlight different collections for my different products. I then brainstormed a little bit about the vibe or design that I wanted to go for, and literally just brain dumped whatever came to mind about what I wanted my site to look like. So I wrote down minimalist, clean, mildly vintage inspired, greens and browns, and soft and desaturated. My logo, I designed a brand new logo in anticipation of creating this shop. So I wanted to feature my new logo prominently. The last thing I wrote is simple and easy to navigate, which I think is the most important thing. I don't want it to be overly complex or busy. I want it to be really easy for someone to come to the site for the first time and be able to find everything they're looking for. So with all of those things in mind, it's time for, I think, the most fun part, or at least one of the most fun parts, which is picking a template. Honestly, one of the best things about Squarespace, in my opinion, is their selection of templates. Their templates are beautiful. Just look at these templates that are pre-made, and you can use these as inspiration. You can just plug in your own photos, your own text, your own products, and be done. Or you can really customize things and change things around and make it your own. It really depends on what you're going for and, you know, your personality and how you like to approach things. I really like to start with a template that is as close as possible to what I want my final result to be, because not only does that make the process faster and easier for me, but it also helps me envision what the site's going to look like right from the beginning, which helps to keep me on track and keep me inspired and feeling creative. So I'm looking specifically at the templates they've indicated that are good for e-commerce, and taking a look at these. Squarespace has a really cool preview option where you can see what the template will look like on a desktop, on a tablet, and on a mobile phone. They also have a feature where you can type in what you want your site to be for, and they'll bring up some of the templates they think are a good fit. So I tried doing that as well and found one other template I hadn't looked at before that I kind of liked. Once you've narrowed it down to templates that you really like, that you know have at least the basic features that you're looking for, what I like to do is do a little bit more of a deep dive into specific templates I'm looking at to see exactly what they offer as far as features, because every template is different, especially when it comes to e-commerce. A lot of them have different capabilities as far as product pages and specialty features that come with an e-commerce site. And Squarespace has a wealth of articles explaining all of this. So if you are setting up your own website, you can work through it step by step through their help articles. For example, I was hoping to get some of the more advanced e-commerce features, especially if I'm putting in all this effort to completely redesign my website. I don't want to end up with a template that is limited as far as its e-commerce abilities. And some of the templates on Squarespace are not particularly suited to e-commerce, so they don't have those special features. Once I had narrowed it down to my two top choices, which were Jaunt and Galapagos, I installed them into the back end of my site. So I'm on the editing page of my Squarespace site, and you can go into templates and install a template just to see what it looks like with some of your content. This is a good way to finalize your decision. And in doing this, I realized that Jaunt really was my favorite. It had everything I wanted as far as its features, and I really liked the basic setup. I liked the design of the site. I felt like I wouldn't have to do a lot of tweaking here and there to get it to be what I had envisioned from the beginning. So I decided to go with Jaunt, and I left it as a preview on my site. And this is how I left it for the entire time I was redesigning my site. You can just choose the template and go live with it. But because I left my website live to the public through this whole process, because I didn't want to stop people from visiting my website if they had bookmarked a blog post to read, or maybe they wanted to check the resources page, I do still get thousands of visitors to my blog every month, even though I don't regularly update it. I didn't want to disrupt the live website. So that's why I redesigned the entire site in this preview mode until I was completely done and ready to go live. So now that I've selected Jaunt as my template, it's time for my other favorite part. I can't decide which one is best, trying to pick a template or getting to customize a template. I guess probably customizing the template, because then I get to really get into the nitty-gritty details and try slight changes in font size and placement of different elements and a slightly different shade of green for the cart. All of those little things that honestly I love to do. So here you can see me going through and playing with some of the style features. Squarespace is really easy to use, so most of these features are so common sense that you won't need to look anything up to figure out how to make the changes you want to make. But like I said, the support is incredible from Squarespace, and they have so many articles explaining anything you could want to do that if you ever run into a snag and you can't figure out how to change something, or you've done something and you can't figure out how to undo it, you will definitely find the help you need on their help articles. And if by some amazing circumstance you can't, you can always contact them directly for specific help for your problem. Now, this part does not need to take as long as I took to do it, but like I said, I love editing all those tiny little details. So for me, this was a blast, and I really took my time with it because I wanted the site to reflect my aesthetic and my brand of warm minimalism, I'll call it. Minimalism, but not in a stark way. I think that's a pretty good explanation of my vibe. I'm also loving how my logo looks on this page. So as you can see, I designed a brand new logo, which is a little green circle with a plant. And then I designed a P that has two shadows of a bee on the bottom bump. So it's sort of the P and the B and the B of Plant-Based Bride, but the bees are behind the P and sort of fading away into the distance. It's hard to describe, but I feel like when you look at it, you get it. I'm really happy with this logo. I played around with a million different options and came to this one, and I just feel like it's so simple and it's so me, and I just really like it. I also came up with a new tagline that I'm really proud of. Maybe it's silly, but I really like it. So my new tagline is "Create with Kindness," and I really like it because I feel like it encapsulates what I'm all about. You know, kindness, compassion, caring for other people and animals and the environment, for your impact. Those are very important things to me, who I am as a person and what I do in my career. And being creative is also such a huge part of my life, from my degree in musical theater and being a performer to creating YouTube videos and creating spreads in my bullet journal, graphic design, photography, dance, singing, all these things that are so creative are my lifeblood, to be honest. I live for creativity, whether I am consuming it and appreciating someone else's creativity or if I am creating myself. So I just really like this tagline because I think, again, it's so me, just the idea of being creative and putting yourself out there and making something beautiful or impactful or interesting, but doing it with compassion and thoughtfulness. Because I think sometimes in our modern day world, we forget that aspect. We forget that kindness and compassion that I really think we need a little bit more of. So now that I've gone on a philosophical rant explaining my tagline for my new shop, you're welcome for getting a little insight into my brain here. Once I figured out the basic design of my site, colors, fonts, general spacing, and placement, it was time to work on the specific pages. So at this point, I'm going into the pre-made pages that are part of this preview template and copying them and then adjusting them to fit my needs, replacing any of the stock images or text with my own images and text, moving things around, deleting things I don't need, all of that good stuff. I'm also starting the process of adding my actual products, which is something new for me since I haven't sold anything on my website before. And I actually really like the way they have this section laid out, how you add new products. The longer I worked with it, the more I liked the way it had been organized. So I started by altering one of the product pages that was already there, just to get a feel for how it worked and what I needed to make sure I didn't forget to fill in. And then I ended up creating a brand new one just so it would be clean from scratch with all of my own information. I took photos of the sticker sets on my desk in my studio where I film my videos, and I edited the shot so there would be a nice consistent look to all of the product photos amongst this set. And I really like how this turned out. I really like the warmth of the photo and the gold accessories. I love that the stamp pad has a bunch of gold letters from my 2020 setup. Just little things that I feel like my subscribers, all of you, would notice when you looked at the photo, whereas someone else wouldn't. So I'm creating a separate product page for the 3 different designs, the 3 sets in the core collection that I launched yesterday. So there's the mini calendar set, which is the most complex product page because it has a couple different versions or variations. There's the Sunday version and the Monday version, and then there's also the Sunday bundle and the Monday bundle. So I actually have to set up 4 different variants for the single product, whereas the numbers and the timelines products are just one and much simpler to work with. So I'm going back and forth between Photoshop and my editor on Squarespace to finalize all of the product photos, make sure I'm happy with them, and I am regularly checking them in the preview to see what they're going to look like when a customer comes to look at the site. I'm also filling in all of the product information, the description, with important things that people might want to know, like the size of the sticker sheet, specifics of how many stickers are actually on the sheet, the materials, all of that good stuff. I'm also customizing the home page. So I really like the general layout of the home page, but obviously none of these photos are my own. So I want the largest photo on the home page to feature the core collection, my first launch of products. So I'm going to feature this photo of the Sunday mini calendar set as the largest image on the front page. I'm also going to include a photo of me, which is my headshot that I use basically on all my social media as my profile picture, and another image that I just quickly put together in Photoshop using the leaf that I created as part of my logo with a nice green background as a placeholder for the FAQ page. Eventually, once I launch more collections, this spot will turn into a way to feature another collection on the homepage. But for now, since I just have the core collection, I decided to create a placeholder image that fit within the feel, the vibe of my website, that goes with my logo and will help direct new customers to the FAQs.
I also realized that it would be a good idea to create little badges for the different variations of the mini calendars, just to make it really clear which one is the Sunday set, which is the Monday, which is the Sunday bundle, and which one's the Monday bundle, especially because the photos at first glance look like they're all exactly the same. So I didn't want anyone to select the incorrect choice by mistake and end up not getting what they had hoped to get. So I thought these badges would help to distinguish between the different variations a little bit better. And again, I was sort of following the vibe of my logo with the same colors and fonts and the circular shape so that it would tie in with the rest of my site. Once I finished that, there were just a few little things that I had to update here and there, and then I was good to go. I had finished everything on my site and it was time to go live. So before I do officially go live, I want to show you the before and after of my website. This is the coolest part. So looking at my website now, after spending a few weeks working on my new website, it looks so weird to me. Like, it looks ancient. It feels like I made it in middle school, even though I made it 5 years ago and have updated it a few times since, but it just feels like a time capsule of a different point in my life, which is kind of cool, honestly. But goodbye, time capsule, because we're going live with the new template and taking a look at it. This looks so amazing. It's such a cool feeling to finally see it live and get to interact with it as a customer would. It looks so different from my original site, but it's exactly what I had envisioned. So I'm really, really happy about that. I hope this video was interesting for all of you to watch. If you're ever in the market for a website, I highly recommend you check out Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to my URL to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and for everything you do, because like I said earlier in this video, this website would not exist if it wasn't for Squarespace making everything so incredibly easy. I want to take a moment to thank my patrons for their support. We have a couple new patrons to thank today, so extra special thanks to our newest patrons, Katie, Ayana, Lillian, Jamie, Taylor, Vasuda, and Bruce. Welcome to the squad. We are so excited to have you. If you at home want to join the squad, check out the link in the card or the description box down below. Also, just a little hint there, but my patrons actually get a discount in my shop, so just something to keep in mind. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you saw the special word of the day for Plantmas in this video. I hope you found this interesting or informative or entertaining or relaxing or any of those things. And I will see you very, very soon in my next video tomorrow for Plantmas Day 5. Bye, friends.